arranged that song, and I want to congratulate him. Good morning, St. Stephen. Take your message notes out with me. We are in a series this month entitled Yes We Can. And Yes We Can made famous, those words made famous by Barack Obama, but they don't have their origin with Barack Obama. Throughout the Bible, we find many Bible personalities saying, yes, I can, yes, we can. And throughout black history, you've heard that confidence, that belief, yes, we can, yes, I can. In fact, that might be the theme of black history. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. When others said we could not, our response was, yes, we can. And we're looking at some of these yes, we can verses in the Bible, and I want you to look at one with morning, Psalm 48. Let's look at verse 1, and our focus will be on verses 13 and 14. Verse 1, Psalm 48. Great is the Lord, and greatly to be praised in the city of our God. Now, this is a song, or psalm, that is the basis for one of the great anthems of the church called Let Mount Zion Rejoice. And many of the words of the song are found right here in Psalm 48. Great is the Lord, and greatly to be praised in the city of our God, in the mountain of his holiness. And verse 2 says, beautiful for situations. Beautiful for situations. And what this is saying is that he's talking about Jerusalem. Jerusalem, which is the capital of the Jewish world. And when he writes this psalm, Jerusalem is under attack. And the enemies are around trying to invade Jerusalem. But Jerusalem has a wonderful situation. It is a city that is on a hill. In fact, the name of the city is right here in the... So if you hear the word Jerusalem and somebody says Mount Zion, then you know that they're talking about the same thing, because Jerusalem is a city that was built on what? Mount Zion. So beautiful for situation. The enemies are around us, but they can't get to us. Why? Because we are on what? A mount. And the name of the mount the city is built on is called Zion. On the sides north, on the sides of the north, stop here, the city of the great king. On the sides of the north. Not only was Jerusalem a city built on a hill called Mount Zion, but Jerusalem also had some other natural protection, and that was that all around Jerusalem were valleys. So enemies had to go into the valley and up the mountain to conquer Jerusalem, situated on Mount Zion. Now, the valley was at its steepest, or deepest, on the south side, the west side, and the east side. But the north side, it wasn't as deep as the other sides. So guess what the Jews did? Since they knew that since the north side didn't have a deep valley, that any enemy who was going to attack them would probably come on the north side. And usually, anytime you read about Jerusalem being invaded, they would always invade them from the north side. So guess what they did? They built the temple of God on the north side of the city. They built the temple on the side where they were most vulnerable. They were saying, like, God, look, in this area where I'm weak, please protect me. And you need to build your temple on your north side. All right? On the north side of the city. Skip down to verse 11. So after God has delivered the city, guess what the people do? They start rejoicing. It says what? Let Mount Zion rejoice. And what is Mount Zion? Mount Zion is another name for what? Jerusalem. Let the city rejoice. Let the daughters of Judah, those are surrounding villages around Judah, be glad because of God's judgment or justice. God has delivered. And then, this right, I love this, says, walk about Zion. What is Zion? Mount Zion. So it says walk about Zion. That means go around the city and survey the city and see that everything's still in place. Everything is still in place. Enemies all around, but they didn't destroy us. Everything is still in place. And sometimes you ought to walk around your Zion. Sometimes you just need to walk around and see, walk around your life, walk around your situation and see how good God has been to you. Verse 13. Mark ye well the bulwarks, consider her palaces, that you tell it to the generation following. God has delivered Jerusalem. God has delivered Zion. Go tell this story to the generation that follows. Why? Because for this God is our God forever and ever, and he will be our God, our guide even unto death, eternally. This is a very important passage because it talks about God's delivering of the city, God's delivering of the people in the face of wicked enemies. And once they have been delivered because of the mighty hand of God, this writer says, please tell your children what God has done, because we want this God to be our God forever and ever, eternally. Eternally. You know, there's been much discussion in our community about the student assignment plan. You listen to the radio, listen to talk shows, talk radio, and you hear different positions, different pro and cons. Some say we need to keep the student assignment plan in place. Some say it needs to be dismantled in favor of neighborhood schools. Well, regardless of what side of the fence you come on, you stand on. To me, and this is K.W. Cosby speaking, I could be wrong, but I never am. This is me speaking. To me, as important as that issue is, it is a secondary issue. One of the problems that we can do as leaders, and fill in this blank, is that we give primary energy to secondary issues, and we give secondary energy to primary issues. The issue really is not student assignment, as important as that is. The real issue, which determines how successful any child will be, is not student assignment, but it's parental assignments. It's not, the school curriculum may be important, but mom, dad, hear me. It's not the school's curriculum, but it's your curriculum that will ultimately determine the of your child. You hear me? Amen? The primary issue for high achieving kids is high demanding, high expectation parents. Bottom line. That's what does it. High expectation parents create high performance kids. Let me say it again. High expectation parents create high performance kids. Now, herein lies the problem. The problem with many families and homes today is that we have made institutions outside the home contractors, and we've made the home the subcontractor. When the fact of the matter is, the home be the contractor, and schools and churches are subcontractors. We need to banish drop-off mommies and drop-off daddies who just drop off their kids, amen, to other people. Amen. Please fill in this blank. Too many institutions outside the home, whose purpose is to assist the home, have taken over the responsibilities of the home, thus making the home an adjunct of these outside institutions. Can I get an amen there? Amen. Amen. Until we get our homes right, we won't be able to get our kids right. Amen. 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 Tell your children. Little boy called the police. Called the police department. And the receptionist answered and said, "What can I do for you? What do you want?" Little boy said, "Please send a police officer to my house immediately. Immediately, hurry." And the police receptionist said, "Well, what's wrong?" And my mama. And she said, "Well, what's wrong with your mama?" "She's in the backyard." "Well, what's wrong?" "She's getting a switch. And I see her, she's on her way back into the house. Send a police, hurry, quick." Well, here's the moral of the story. The moral of the story is this. You get to your child before police gets to your child. Amen. In fact, there is really a race in this society to see who's going to be the first one to get to your kid. That's why I have no patience with parents who say, "I do not want to impose my religion or my value on my kids. I don't want to bring them to church because I don't want to impose on them. I want them to grow up so they can have their own mind and they make that decision when they turn 18. And there's a Greek word for that thinking. It's called baloney. Because everybody is trying to impose values on your kids. You need to get to them before other people do. Amen? Amen. Amen. Now, brothers and sisters, there are no perfect parents. There are no perfect parents. And the only children who can have perfect parents are perfect children. And since you're not a perfect child, don't expect perfect parents. There's no such thing as a perfect parent. But there are wise parents. There are wise parents. And parenting is not for punks. Amen. Amen. You cannot have you should not have accidental parenting. We need, amen, not accidental parenting, but we need parents who have an agenda, okay, who are intentional in their parenting. Be intentional about it. And so instead of a school assignment, I want to give you what I think is biblical, a parent assignment plan. Because when it comes to kids, having kids who are doing well in school, who don't go to jail, who are graduating, who are college bound, yes, we can. Yes, we can. Can I get a witness up in here? Yes, we can. So what is this parent assignment plan? What is your assignment, mom? What is your assignment, dad? What are we supposed to be stressing in our community as it relates to our kids? Well, number one, here's the number one thing I think should be a part of a parent's assignment plan. Number one, prepare your child for life. That's it. Your job is to get your child ready for life. And it is your responsibility to do. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4 says this. This is the most important passage in the life of a Jew, period. This is their confessional. It's called the Shema. Say Shema, which is the Hebrew word for hear. Shema. You go ask a rabbi, quote the Shema.